So today is the day where we are finally embarking on our Southeast Asia journey. We're going to be traveling for 6 months, currently about to get on a flight with Shenzen Airlines from Heathrow Airport to Shenzhen with a 20-hour layover, followed by flying off to Singapore. So the reason we've chose Shenzen Airlines is because it is a budget airline, spending only about £320 compared to a lot of the airlines, which are around 640. It's our first time ever doing this, so I'm going to show you through my experience of the airline and what we thought of it. So we set off from Best Parents in Wales to Heathrow Terminal 2. This took us around 2 hours and 50 minutes, so that was a nice and successful journey. Then made our way over to the check-in desk, which took only 10 to 15 minutes, and our bags only weighed around 9 and 11 kilograms. At this point we signed a waiver form, so that was important as we were able to then collect our bags at the layover in Shenzhen. Otherwise they would go straight through to Singapore, so make sure to be aware of that. We then went for our final meal in the UK with Best Parents to the Queen's Arm. The food was alright, but overpriced like most airports. Then it was time to say goodbye and go through security and head to the gate. We tried to be cheeky and get an upgrade for Best Birthday, but was unfortunately unsuccessful, so we had to turn right on boarding. The good thing about this plane was that the layout was 2-4-2, which meant that we were able to sit together without having a third person either blocking us in or taking the window seat. The economy tickets were £332.92 in total, which is a bargain, and the seats came with a pillow, blanket and headphones for the screen too. I did notice some people asked for slippers too, so if you want those you can ask for them, and there was a decent amount of leg room and the seats reclined to what felt like a standard amount. Like all long distance flights, there are screens for entertainment. It was cool to see the map with our journey on it, and there was also a cool safety video which had English subtitles in it. It was then time to take off and take a look at the in-flight entertainment. The movie selection wasn't great. Most of them were Chinese films, which is to be expected as it is on a Chinese airline. In the overseas section, most of them were European rather than English. However, I did manage to watch one film called Penguin Bloom and actually quite enjoyed it. I think it was an Australian film. There were a few kids movies, but I'm not sure if they'd be any good for them. There were also Chinese TV programs, nothing English, and the music section was a bit random but did have some well-known artists like Ariana Grande, Adele and Lewis Capaldi, but I'd rather use music I've downloaded on Spotify. One cool feature was the chat room, where you could message people in other seats or join chat rooms with various topics. And then shortly after takeoff they started serving drinks. We both decided to go for an apple juice, which tasted a little bit processed, and then the food arrived and the choice was either chicken or shrimp, but they'd run out of the chicken by the time they got to our seat, so unfortunately we had to have the shrimp. The food was quite bland and we could have done with a bit more sauce, and it came with a bread roll, potato salad and a fruity cheesecake type dessert which had an unusual flavour to it. Then once the food had been cleared they turned the lights down for people to sleep. I tried to get to sleep but I did struggle to get comfy. I'm not great at sleeping on aeroplanes generally. Towards the end of the flight the lights came back on and they began serving the second meal. We both went for the Sprite this time, and then the choice of food was either chicken noodles or egg noodles. I decided to go for chicken, and it was a lot nicer than the first meal, but a bit of a strange breakfast to have. It also came with a croissant with jam, some melon and a strawberry yoghurt. And then once the food was cleared it was nearly time to land, so I went to check out the bathroom. The bathroom was standard for most airlines. The landing was a bit bumpier than takeoff, but we landed safely into Shenzen Airport. After an 11.5-hour flight we have arrived in Shenzhen. The flight wasn't actually too bad, to be fair. I'll talk about it once we get back to the hotel room, but we're currently going to claim our baggage, go through security, get our passport and visa sorted, and then I'll let you know how we're getting on. When we got to immigration, we tried asking the information desk about the visa, but they couldn't speak very good English, so we headed over to a table of people who were filling out forms and filled one out. However, when we got to the passport control, they told us that it was the wrong form and pointed us to a different area, which was annoying. We then filled out another form titled Arrival Card for Temporary Entry and had to give that along with our passport and another form that had been printed out for us to a member of staff, who then took it through the staff only area and told us to wait. About 40 minutes later our passports were returned with the arrival card we'd filled out. We could then go through passport control successfully and collect our bags from the luggage belt and head over to our transit hotel. 2.5 hours later we have arrived at the Shenzen Airport hotel. So if you do go with Shenzhen Airlines you are allowed a transit hotel which they will book for you. You can get a transfer from the airport to the hotel, but you have to then ring the hotel to get all that sorted, and that'll cost a lot of money. So in the end we decided that we just book a taxi using the app DD. So that's a good app to use. I'll leave a link to it in the description below. And do make sure that you know to pay after the journey is finished. So the taxi driver will pick you up, take you to the location, then you've got to go back on the app and pay through there. It is all in Chinese. so do be wary of that. We actually downloaded all of the languages that we're going to be going through, so 9 languages, onto Google Translate so that we could just translate all of the words in the apps, which was good, so definitely do that before you leave. Also with the SIM card, we weren't able to activate it because we had no internet. So maybe it might be worth activating the SIM card before you actually take off. We've gone for an eSIM from Airlo. I think it's called Airlo, and it's 100 gigabytes, and it's 18 different countries, I believe. We've gone for the Asia eSIM, and we've got 150 days with 100 gigabytes. Hopefully that should be enough. You can actually top it up whilst you're out here too, so that's quite good. But now I'll show you the room quickly, which we have been put in. So this is all completely free, this hotel, and the transfers to and from the airport, which is great, and it's actually probably going to be one of the nicest hotels that we stay in. So I will take you through the room now, starting off with the light switches, which actually have labels for each of the areas, so that's quite cool. Never seen that before. Got the bathroom in here, nice little sink with toilet, and then the shower there. So quite a nice little shower and bathroom area. Then as you come through, you obviously got the kettle with all the teas. You get 2 free bottles of water, which is good too. I'm not actually sure if you can drink the tap water here or not. And then here is the room. So big, massive king-size bed. You've got the slippers and masks under here, which is quite funny. So they provide you with slippers and masks. Phones call us down to reception. Quite a nice big TV. I doubt there's going to be much English stuff on there. Nice little desk. Got a sofa here on this right-hand side, and I've not actually looked at the view yet, so we'll take a quick look outside. And it's a car park, not really too much that you can see as it is so dark right now. So that is going to be the room which we're going to be staying in for just the one night, and then in 20 hours time we're going to be on a layover off to Singapore. Just downloaded our eSIM on Airlo, and it's actually really good because it allows you to use all of the apps which you can't use whilst you're in China. So things like Instagram, YouTube, Google search, all of that. So that is perfect. And we're now about to head out for some food. So we want to try and find somewhere local because it's quite late now. It's currently 10 to 9. So we're just going to go for a light bit of tea and then come back, edit a couple of YouTube videos because I'm not going to have time to do that otherwise. And then we're going to head off to bed. So we've just walked a few minutes away from the hotel. It's really cool. It's like a little quaint Chinese street. It's got loads of street food going on either side. Some cute little puppies as well that we saw too. And it's all decorated in all the Chinese colours. So we've just gone into one of the restaurants. Got no idea how you pronounce the name or how you say it, but it looked a little bit more substantial than the other street food markets because you don't want to get ill really early on. So we've decided to go for this restaurant. It's basically had a menu, ticked the ones that you liked, and then they'll go off and make it next door. This one had a few more people in than the other one, so it looks a bit more popular, which is a good sign. Hopefully the food tastes good. There was actually some people playing some games just behind us earlier too, who actually came over to me and asked me where I was from, and I had to tell them they were English. They thought that we were American, but it looks really good fun. I love the Chinese vibe so far. Everything looks really clean. However, they did leave a little bit of a mess in that corner, but they do seem a little bit drunk. So our first bit of food has arrived. We've acquired the chopsticks, and we think this is beef fried rice. It looks really tasty, I have to say. So I hope it tastes as good as it looks. That's really good, very tasty. So after about 10 minutes of trying to translate, Beth has finally translated to them that she doesn't want egg in her noodles. We have got the golden buns too. We've got no idea what these are, but these look bloody delicious. That is the best noodles I've ever had as well. So if you ever come to China, definitely get some noodles, which I'm guessing you will do. This looks more like a sweet, maybe. Noodles just arrived. They taste delicious too. It's like a donut sort of thing. If you look inside, it's basically like a golden bun, like they say, a donut. Dip it into that sauce, a bit sweeter sauce. really tasty. I have to say, so far so good with the Asian food. So we've just had our meal and we are now heading our way back down through the street markets. It's incredible round here. Look how cool it is with all the different foods going on either side of the street. And then they have the big markets with all the fruits too. And we are back, and that is day one of the travels over and our last night in Shenzhen. And I definitely have to recommend taking Shenzhen Airlines to get to Singapore. It's definitely worth the reduction in money. And you also get to see an extra location, which is Shenzhen. And I've just really enjoyed today, to be honest, going out and having a look at the Chinese markets and trying some Chinese food, which was really tasty. But it is time for bed, as we've got to get the flight tomorrow to Singapore, and we may go and have a look a little bit more into Shenzhen. We'll have to have a look in the morning and see whether we've got enough time to do that or not. The food was so reasonable too. It came to £5.50 for all three of those dishes. Now in the UK, just for one of those dishes, you'd be paying like £10, maybe even £20 in some places. So I'm going to really enjoy that about all these Asian countries, but I don't really want to put weight on. That's the issue, because I'll be wanting to try all this different food. It's all so cheap, so I need to keep my eye out on that too. So I hope you all enjoyed this one, and if you did, do make sure to smash that like button and subscribe if you are new, and I'll see you all in tomorrow's vlog.